I bought 5 of the most highly rated monitor arms on Amazon that are specifically designed for large and heavy monitors. If you're like me with a large 42-inch OLED, or maybe you're using a 49-inch ultra widescreen, you've probably noticed there aren't a lot of options available. So I decided to buy them all and see if there are any noticeable differences between the brands. The Monoprice Heavy Duty Mount is our first option in the list, and it comes in at about $120. Now, per their specs, it's rated for monitors up to 39.6 pounds and as large as 49 inches wide. The Monoprice arm is big and bulky. When I pulled it out of the box, I was really surprised at the overall size of it. Instead of using a shorter mount for the desk with 2 medium-length pivoting arms, the bottom mount is actually super tall. The single extension arm is also massive, which is what gets the monitor out towards you. Now, this design allows the monitor to be positioned at very tall heights. The quick connect bracket unfortunately didn't work on our 32-inch monitor, and this was because of how the mounting holes on the actual back of the monitor are recessed into it. Now, this did create a fit issue that might pose a problem if your monitor's mounting holes are similar. Because of this, I had to screw the extension arm and bracket onto the back of the monitor first. It worked, but if you have an ultra wide like this, it would probably be a problem to put this together by yourself. On the 49-inch, since the bracket extends off the back of the monitor, I didn't experience the same issue. The cable management was a bit cumbersome, using a couple small screws to hold each portion in place, but even so, once the cables were cleaned up, I actually thought it did a good job hiding the wires in the arm. For the price, it actually outperformed, I think, some of the more premium options like the Ergotron in this area. Once connected to the desk, the monitor attached, it was hard not to notice how bulky that lower mount was. It really stood out compared to other models, which can be a good or bad thing depending on your preference. Even with the mounting issue using our 32-inch, the Monoprice worked fine with both 32 and 49-inch wide monitors. And as mentioned, it had the most significant amount of height adjustment range of any of the monitor arms we tested. Because of the single long extension arm, I did notice that this arm had a bit more bounce, which is to be expected considering how far that arm extends from that post mount on the desk. The Vivo Premium was the least expensive option in the list at only $100, and it's kind of crazy to think that you can buy something to support these beasts of monitors for so little money. The ratings on it are above average at 4.4 out of 5 with close to 500 ratings. The Vivo Premium is set up for monitors weighing up to 33 pounds that are as wide as 49 inches, and the arm itself felt pretty solid for the price. The looks were just okay, I think, with the silver bolts in the upper extension arm and the clear plastic cable management. The quick connect system on the Vivo was exactly the same as the Monoprice. This meant our 32-inch monitor had to be mounted to the extension arm and bracket as one. Now, this was a bit more manageable than the Monoprice because the extension arm is about half that of what the Monoprice is in length. The cable management, as I'd mentioned before, is made of clear plastic, which is really kind of weird to me. I'm not sure why you would want to see the cables unless you had maybe RGB in them. The clear plastic upper portion holds in place with a couple screws, while the lower portion actually slides into place. Once complete, overall, this system held the wires in place very well. The Vivo had no issues working with both our 32 and 49-inch monitors. I found the adjustments were smooth and held in place well. Stability was actually really good with both size monitors as well, but if you do decide to fully extend both extension arms, you will notice some additional bounce. If you're on a tight budget, this is definitely my preferred option. The third option in the list is the AVLT, and it's right in the middle of the road for price at $249. Now, per their specs, they say that it can support monitors up to 50.7 pounds and as much as 49 inches wide. It's important to note this is the heaviest capacity of any of the arms that we tested. Something else unique about this model, it does include 2 USB 3.0 and 2 auxiliary ports integrated right into the base. Depending on where your computer is mounted, I could see this being a nice feature to have already set up out of the box. But if you don't plan to use them, they might be a bit of a waste. The monitor mount on the AVLT also includes a wider range of mounting options than the others in the list. It includes the standard 75 by 75 and 100 by 100 millimeter mounts, but also has the capability of fitting a 200 by 100 and a 200 by 200 hole pattern as well. We didn't have any issues fitting both the 32-inch and the 49-inch to this bracket, but because it doesn't include a quick connect system, you do have to attach the upper extension arm when mounting to the monitor, and this can make setting the 49-inch really a two-person job. The cable management system on the AVLT includes an upper and lower component that screws into place. This system is typically a bit more cumbersome, but it does hold the cables in place well. There really wasn't a ton of room in the lower area to hold the wires, but I was able to fit both wires in there. Now, I'm not sure I love the white arm with the black covers, but recently they did add an all black option, so if this bugged you, you could definitely look at that as an alternative. Stability-wise, I didn't have any issues with both the 32 and 49-inch monitors. The bounce was most noticeable with the arm fully extended, but again, that's to be expected. For the price though, I'm really having a hard time with this model. I'm not sure it's worth 2.5 times the Vivo, and at that price, you might just want to jump up to the next model, which is what we'll talk about here. The Ergotron HX single mount is the second most expensive in the group at that $379 mark, and it comes with really high scores of 4.7 out of 5 from almost 1,000 ratings on Amazon. This is one of the most popular premium options I've seen on the ultrawides watching different setup videos on YouTube. When I pulled the HX out of the box, it definitely had a better quality feel to it than the tiers below it. The powder-coated paint finish was consistent and durable. All of the parts had a good weight to them, and they really did feel like they would last forever. The quick connect bracket to attach the monitor to the arm was different than the other models that I've tried. Like the rest of the arm, it definitely felt overbuilt. This part allows you to easily slide and hold the monitor into place and then secure this bracket in place with a single set screw. Once attached, it didn't feel like either the monitor or the mount was going anywhere. The cable management on the Ergotron HX was a bit disappointing for the price point. They use Velcro straps and they work, but this is more comparable to something that you would find on the much less expensive models under $100 for lighter monitors. The lower portion of the arm allows you to route this through the arm, but it did expose a hole on the top that they just felt like they missed here again. Now, depending on your needs, you might not care since this is tucked behind a large monitor. Through testing, I wasn't actually to get this arm to work with our smaller 32-inch curved monitor. Even after adjusting the tension as low as possible, the spring on the monitor mount wanted to tilt the monitor up and forward. The ultra-wide though was perfect for it and adjustments were made with ease. This arm was definitely stable with the ultra-wide attached with no issues at all with bounce. The final arm in the list and the most expensive is the Humanscale M10, and this comes in at about $570, which honestly isn't too surprising considering the brand name. This is the arm we've been using exclusively on our 49-inch widescreen in our setup for the last year. Now, Humanscale's M10 doesn't have a ton of reviews on Amazon, and some of them were mixed. But when you do go a little deeper into the reviews, you realize that there's unfortunately shady companies that have been selling used or return arms as new. And this is where most of the negative reviews have stemmed from. The M10 is the most complete looking arm in the group. It has a sleek design, all of the parts are finished well, and it really doesn't cut corners in any of the areas. Even looking at the build and the finish quality on the hinges of the arm, you can tell that this thing is just a step above the rest. I really like the quick connect system used to attach the arm to the base and the monitor to the arm. The other option in the list seemed to use set screws to secure, or they're just funky kind of cheap clips, so this felt a bit quicker and it just felt better built. The cable management on the M10 is also well thought out. The second most expensive option, Ergotron, clearly cut some costs here with their Velcro system. On the M10, it was easy to route the wires through the upper and lower portion of the arm, and once done, the wires were completely hidden for a clean look. The M10 also had no issues supporting both our 32-inch curved monitor and the 49-inch widescreen. The adjustments allowed for fluid movement up and down for both options, and I found that stability with this arm was also good with both of these monitors. Depending on your setup, if having the best of the best is important, I definitely recommend going this route. The other options do a lot of the same things though for as much as only 25% of the cost. If you're still on the fence about a monitor arm, you should check out my Do Not Buy a Monitor Arm until you watch this video.